Tell us how you're feeling and how your health is.
It's great, Hank. I'm feeling wonderful. I am working every day and doing what I can to make sure I follow all the doctor's orders, which are mainly to keep doing what I'm doing and, continue to exercise, continue to eat right, and make sure that my health stays good and take my medication, and that's what I'm doing.
How would you describe your first 6 months in office?
Well, I think it's been wonderful. It's been challenging. I think like any job, regardless of whether you're in the public sector or not, oftentimes a new job is challenging. So we've had our challenges, but I think we've tried to address all of them as openly as we can, and I think that we've addressed them. I'm proud of the fact that we passed a budget in the first 6 months, which I think is a good budget, and we'll move forward to try to make the city of Clarksville the best it can be.
Tell us about the East-West Corridor and your vote to bring that to a tie, and why it was not a good time for us to pursue that idea.
Well, I think that the real issue is that this is a very substantial project. This is not something that the city of Clarksville can delve into on their own, because the city of Clarksville, quite frankly, doesn't have the money. This is something that's going to require state and federal assistance, and so I think we need to first take the route of making the determination of whether that state and federal assistance will be coming at some point in the future, rather than going forward with only committing the city of Clarksville to do it. And I think there are ways to do that, and I am all in favor of making sure we can move forward with a project like that to alleviate traffic congestion with state and federal assistance.
Tell us how the College Street, North 2nd Street project is coming.
It's coming along. It's on budget. It's on time. Hopefully, I know everything, when you have to close a road, that it always seems like it's longer than possible, but we're having to do that for the safety not only of the people that are working on the road, but also just people who might drive on it. But it's going to be open before we know it, and it's going to be fixed. And I'm proud of the people that are in there every day digging in that hole and making sure that we get this issue fixed. It was an emergency and something that had to be addressed, and I think we've addressed it in the right manner, and we're going to have it fixed as quickly as possible.
Some rezoning issues at the last council meeting were somewhat controversial, with property behind the new Publix Supermarket. Tell us about that. And it was defeated, but how do you feel about those rezonings back in there and that controversy that has come up in that ward?
Well, I think anytime you're dealing with zoning issues, it's a very personal issue to a lot of people, especially when you're in residential neighborhoods. And so I think you have to take those people's comments into consideration. I think that's what the Regional Planning Commission does. As you know, there are public hearings that occur in front of the Regional Planning Commission before a decision is made at that level. So I think it's important. It's always difficult whenever you're dealing with somebody's property. I think we have to make decisions that respect both sides, both the side of progress and the side of the people that live there. So I think it's unfortunate when things come to a head like they did in this last incident, but that's the job of the City Council to make the ultimate decision. Obviously, the Planning Commission had made one decision on that particular location. The City Council made another decision, but that's their prerogative, and I respect that.
Are you comfortable with where CDE is headed? New board, interim superintendent. Is that headed in the direction that you'd like to see it go? Oh,
I think so. I'm very proud of the new board that we have put in place. I think they're doing a fantastic job. I think they're working very hard. They just had an all-day orientation session last week where they all came together and learned a lot of information about TBA and about how CDE works. And I think that shows that this board is committed to understanding the complicated issues that a utilities board has to consider, and I think that's a very good thing for the people of Clarksville and the ratepayers. I think it's in the position that it needs to be, and I think Brian Taylor's doing a fantastic job as interim superintendent, and I know that this board will make a decision when they're ready to recommend a permanent superintendent to the mayor's office, and we'll make a decision and send it to the council. And but I think right now everything seems to be moving in the right direction.
You made a comment at the meeting the other night that times were tight. As the mayor of Clarksville, for the next 6 months, what do you feel like your role will be to keep the community encouraged about our economy and our community and our city government, so that we won't be as stressed about those things that play out every day in the media?
You know, Hank, I think it's important that whoever the leader is, the mayor is, you have to have a positive attitude. And I've always tried to do that, both with myself and with the job that I've been in, whether that be at the state level or at the city level or whatever level that is. I think being positive, always looking at things as the glass half full instead of the glass half empty. I think my role and my job is to remain positive, to always look for the best way to approach situations. And you know, I'm very lucky that I've been in politics for a long time and been in public service for a long time, because I was, quite frankly, very honored to be elected to a leadership position with the U.S. Conference of Mayors, which is a national organization of the top mayors from all across the country who get the opportunity to work directly with Congress, with the president, with people in Washington to make sure that they know how important cities are to our overall economy. You know, cities are where the rubber meets the road, and we can't allow Congress and the federal government to forget that they need to make sure that they help us out, because we're the ones that are helping their constituents out on a daily basis. And so I think that's important. That's part of my job and part of my role, to make sure that they realize that we can't insulate ourselves in Clarksville to only think that the taxpayers of Clarksville are the only ones that have to help us get by. I think it's important for Congress and the president to know that too.